Hello everybody. Hi to all the replay viewers. Welcome back to another segment with Halley and I. It's the Halley Quynh show. Mm-hmm. And so this topic was requested by a dear friend of ours, Eddie. Thank you for submitting this topic. It's operating broken. And so I'm gonna let Halley lead this one because she knows the context of it. I'm kind of somewhere else right now. So what did he mean by discussing operating broken?
Yes, I believe what he meant, because we talked about it, is when you are going through something in your life that is extremely, extremely painful and hard.
That's right.
And one of those things that's very painful for a long time. We all have, we go in and out and up and down, when things are generally good, but there's our good days and our bad days. But this is when you're really pushed to your limit of being, because you're having to process deep grief generally.
Yes.
You've experienced a big loss or a really big change.
Got it.
And it shakes your world, and you have to still function.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have a life to do, and you still have a job to do, and you still have maybe kids to take care of, but you're broken inside. And so, the request was to just speak on this and tips and wisdom and tools that we have for if you are in a place of having to operate broken.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what's coming up with me? I experienced something quite recently, just last fall, where it involved a feeling broken about a relationship that was separating, and these relationships were extremely close to me. Something happened where, there was this feeling of, definitely heartbrokenness because there was a separation with these close relationships that I had. And it's a broken heart, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, and things definitely slowed down. I was definitely letting myself feeling it, which a lot of people say a lot, because we know that keeping inside, it's another feeling of being just trapped even more in those feelings. So I cried a lot, you guys. Cried a lot. And as I cried, I just knew in my head, I was let me continue to get up. But it doesn't have to be faster like how I was before. And it was to really be kind to myself, but just still allow myself to move. And my goal was just to keep it moving, do the mundane things. So my best tools and tips with my own personal experience from having a broken heart is to continue to still attend to something that's a healthy outlet, but do it at your own pace. And when the feeling was very still fresh, there was a commitment that I made to a friend to do a video. It was a food blogging video where we were going to meet up at this pizza place, and and that's out in the social world around people when I knew that I was in a state of brokenness. And so I just I decided to keep that commitment, and I know this is up to discussion. Maybe you can judge if it's a good idea for you to stay committed to these commitments that you had, but I decided to show up. I drove there, and then I showed up, and then it gave me a sense of release and relief a little bit, because I was letting myself still function and still staying committed to something that I wanted to do with my friends. And even though they didn't know what was going on with me, it was still comforting to be around people and do something creative. It was I was able to kind of put what I was being heartbroken over and focus on a project that's about supporting a business. So that was an interesting experience for me. That was actually healing, because I was around people. They were still treating me the same with love and kindness, because they're my friends. We have this project to do. And so in some way, I didn't talk about it, but I still allowed myself to show up and receive just interacting with people, because it was nice. So you can gauge if you're ready for that, but I decided to keep my commitments even though how I was feeling was so fresh. But I believe what helped me was every day I just kept it moving, but slowly, So it's really important to be kind to yourself and letting yourself cry. I'm a huge advocate for crying, okay? Overwhelming. It's like those feelings are so raw and real, and to keep it inside of us, it's like trapping yourself inside this container that's even more suffocating. So allow yourself to cry, express, use those expressive healthy outlets tools, and take it slow. That's what's coming up for me. Yeah. And even with like my breakups from like years ago that I experienced, it was like letting myself cry, and then soon you'll have the space to like, okay, I should do this for myself, but I'm going to take my time getting there. I'm not going to like be hard on myself and say, I need to meditate now. Like, you know, that other voice that's coming on that's so demanding. No, it's time to be soft with yourself and gentle and taking it slow. Yeah. So yeah, so those are my tips as far as from my own personal experience of how I navigated around feeling really broken inside. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Halley, what about you? What is coming up for you as far as like operating brokenly? Yeah.
I think for me, the thing that I know to be true about the times in my life when I have been the most broken is that after the broken period, like I've experienced like the greatest transformation, like the biggest changes within myself for the better. Like my life has changed in the most like dramatically inspiring, beautiful directions from the brokenness. And so the last time I was operating broken, I like knew that time that this was for me, even though it didn't feel for me. And even though like all the times prior, I actually wasn't aware that it was for me. Like this was the first time that I was like, I've been around this block enough times now. So I know that like there is higher purpose to this brokenness. There is higher purpose to this pain. Like this is here to change me on a like thoroughly, and to catapult me into a new direction. That is more aligned with who I'm becoming, right? It's like part of the becoming. So yeah, I think that that's the gift of like being alive for a while and like feeling broken more than once, you know, is that you get to remember that like, oh yeah, like I know what these do. So there's a surrender. There's a surrender to the process and a surrender to the journey. And like Quynh said, that like going slow, being real easy on yourself is kind of how you are able to like just like give grace to the process.
Oh, totally.
And then the other thing that's coming up is it's just something that it's just funny that like we have to remember this, is that like our feelings are always changing. You know, and our experiences are always changing. And when we're in a place where we're having to operate broken, it can really feel like we're going to feel broken forever.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Which is why it's good to have, you know, like it's good to have people who remind you that like this too shall pass.
Right? The support of peoples.
Yeah.
You know, where they at?
And to remind yourself, you know, and to remember the last time that you were broken and that passed, you know.
Totally. What's coming up for me is like, if you're someone who has been experiencing a lot of like the cycle of like having to operate when you're feeling broken inside, what's a way to really remind you? You know, what would be great to remind you? I know that when I was, when I think about my last breakup, I needed to write, like have all the quotes in my room and like write all these messages in my room. There's like still sticky notes that I have up there from years ago, and I just kept it up there. And so your environment, maybe turning your room into your safe environment and having encouraging messages and stuff, like that's another part of perhaps like a healthy outlet and a kind way to like constantly keep these lovely reminders around yourself, like, hey, this is why it's so important to be kind to yourself. It's so important to, you know, seek the ways that you can comfort yourself and really see what the lesson is here. And I like how you said, you know, when it happened, you already knew, even though, because it feels like not for you. But then consciously, because you've been around the block, and how many of us have been around the block so many times, there starts to be this message that gets louder and louder and louder every single time there's a bee in front of us. Let's not acknowledge it. Okay. But yeah, like what pain does is it actually slows things down, because you have to pay attention to the pain and actually sorry, the bee. Oh my god. Wait, is it gone?
Yeah,
yes, it's gone. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. That was a test right there. Oh, focus. But yeah, what pain does is slows everything down. And yeah, I just love how you said that, because the message did show up for me too with my last breakup. I was like, yeah, I've been around this block so many times. This is the time for me to actually make an adjustment, you know, really stand up for myself and do something that I've never done before, which was healing. It's time to heal, become our best friend.
And
yeah.
like when we're broken, we're in the most we're in like the richest place of our lessons.
Oh, totally.
Like all of our lessons, there's so much learning that happens in that place. And the kinder we are to ourselves, and the more kind things that we do for ourselves when we're in our broken places, the faster that period goes.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, I
It
know.
speeds it up.
Totally. People say time will heal. That it could be true to a certain extent, you know, but like when you heal, you're letting the time count in a very effective way.
Yeah.
I like how you said that. It's really how you heal through the time, because I have let time pass by before and I thought that was healing, but really no, because I wasn't visiting my pains. I was just moving forward, like going out partying and, you know, really distracting myself from really processing what just happened.
Yeah.
All the pains, all the ways that I was hurt, and forgiving it and understanding it. So I love that you mentioned that. Making your healing time count. You know, investing in time and healing, but not just like putting it like, oh yeah, time will heal it. Yeah, big difference. And yeah, right. And then we come into the same type of scenario, and we're like, wait a minute, I thought I was fine. I thought it was fine. So I love this, actually. Thank you, Eddie. And if you guys have any more requests that came up, maybe a different angle of pain, we would love to talk about it. We're open to talk about anything that has to do with life in general. And there's a lot of pain when we are, you know, experiencing life. So yeah, we'll see you guys again. We are changing it up. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, you're seeing us on a Thursday. So we will be on here Thursdays now around this time. So anything else you would like to add before we end this live? And if you guys have any questions, write it down below. We'll comment back.
The last thing I want to say is that when you are operating broken, it's a really, really good time to like finally go to therapy. Or finally get a healer, get some sessions, like use other people for support, because that's what the healers of the world are here to do, is to like help you through your pain and help you see the lessons that you're learning while you're in it. So you just don't have to do it alone.
Yes, there is support. There's support like us. Hello. Speaking of, our workshop is coming up. It's already sold out. However, you can sign up for the waiting list, or just let us know that if we did host a second one, you would be down. Right now, we have 3 people that have vocalized and signed up on the wait list. So just let us know. And then other than that, we are ending this talk. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.